One of the things that we have lamented quite often about what did not happen between 2016 and 2020 for Bernie and the progressive movement was there was not this influx, at least not at the level we needed it to be at, of ground level candidates when it came to city council, county commission, even state house, state senate, things of that nature. But that is changing. And it is going to change in a big way because that is one of the things that we are actively pushing for. So without further ado, we're going to bring in what I believe is going to be a great conversation with a gentleman who is running for city council in St. Petersburg, the west coast of Florida, not the left coast of Florida, but the west coast of Florida. Nevertheless, he's a great guy. Heard a lot of great things about him. Richie Floyd, welcome to Generational Change.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I like that shirt, man. I'm a sports guy, so yeah. It's
what is it? What is the
Tampa Bay Rays?
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Our baseball team here in St. Pete.
Okay.
That is yeah, you know what? That is something a lot of people don't realize. But like a lot of places in the country, they call themselves a certain team from a certain city, but they actually play somewhere else. And in this case, the Tampa Bay Rays are the St. Petersburg Rays, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's Tampa Bay, They throw that bay in there so that it covers the whole area.
Well, how much does your particular area cover? Because there's always this misconception about like what is the specific area that Tampa Bay covers. Do you go all the way to Sarasota, to Fort Myers? Like, how do you guys perceive it? Because obviously on the east coast of Florida, we see it as sort of the Tri-County area, Palm Beach, Broward, Dade. So how is it for you guys over there?
Oh, I mean, I think you'd get a different answer depending on who you ask. But, I mean, if we're talking about the Tampa Bay area, that's Hillsborough County, Pasco County. I mean, it could go up north of that even. And then, Sarasota and Manatee south of here, pretty much all the counties that border the bay, I guess I would say. But I mean, my attention is paid particularly to Pinellas County and St. Petersburg.
How do you find that having a conversation other than politics works for you when as a new candidate, you got to separate yourself from, everyone else who's running. And all too often, as Jen and I talk about, it's always about why am I running for office? I think having just a regular hammered up conversation about life and things that you enjoy, like sports, for example, I think that goes over very well with a lot of people who are interested in, new blood in the political arena. How do you find that, the ebb and flow conversation works for you personally? Do you find that, talking about things other than politics is a good way to engage the electorate?
So I guess it depends. Engaging the electorate, that depends on what kind of person you're talking to. If it's somebody who's like really engaged in politics, it's, they may not want to hear that at all. They just want to know what you're going to do for them, and how you're going to enact change. But if you're talking to somebody who's just a regular person, actually, I tell you this, anybody, and you can find a way to relate to somebody just on a human level, it's always going to make a difference. And so like, I often wear like my Rays gear out so we can talk about baseball. It's also just a hot topic in the city because we're trying to negotiate whether or not they're going to stay here over the long term. So, it helps break the ice on things like that. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that, relating to people, especially when you're perceived in a certain way as a progressive candidate, as a young person, and just getting across it like, look, I'm a normal person like you. Like I have interests like baseball, fishing, hanging out with my friends like anybody else. I think that does make a big difference.
So what made you decide to get into this race? One of the things that we often talk about is, and again, we encourage anybody who believes that the future of politics, at least from our perspective, is one that is a nonpartisan, non-corporate labor movement. And a lot of that starts at the ground level. What made you decide to run for city council in St. Petersburg?
I think I'm motivated by a lot of the same things that you all are. Look, I've been an activist in the city for a while, pushing for issues, not just at the city level, which we have passed, but issues at the state level as well. So when the seat came open, the incumbent's term limited out. I live here, and I saw this as an opportunity to take it to the next level. So the advocacy that I had been doing, just by speaking in front of council, organizing with, local Bernie supporters and my DSA chapter, taking it to the next level and, getting it to where we have a little bit of institutional power and we're inside and outside strategy,
1,000%. I think we can both agree that that is one of the things why you do need an inside-outside strategy. Yes, you do need to elect representatives who are not on the corporate special interest payroll, but at the same time, you need to have a very robust movement on the outside, really working to create that change. FDR always said, make me do it. And I do think that that is true. You have to make your representatives act, because pressure is always what gets things done. So you're bringing sort of that activist mindset to city council. What is city council like there? I mean, obviously it's St. Petersburg, so I would imagine you have a lot of the problems that we have with overdevelopment, cost of living, housing. What are the primary issues of concern as far as the St. Petersburg residents are as of right now?
Yeah, you said it. The story of Florida is a story that's, the same from coast to coast, north to south. We've had in our entire state's history, been controlled by big money special interests. I see the comments up here. It's hilarious. But yeah, so I mean, it's just like anywhere else, just like South Florida, North Florida. I'm originally from the Florida Panhandle, and we have the same issues there as we have in St. Pete, as we have in South Florida, I think. So the first thing I'll say is housing. And that ties right into overdevelopment. We have an affordability crisis across the state, and St. Pete is not an exemption. And not an exception. So the first thing that we talk about at the doors is affordable housing and how we're going to create permanently affordable solutions. We're not going to just, subsidize landlords' profits by giving people money to rent things that are going to continue to go up in price year after year after year. We're going to, build real affordable community-based options like community land trusts and fixing the public housing infrastructure that we have in the city and that we've had across the state that's just not been taken care of. It's been neglected because, they don't think about working people and poor people in this state. And so housing's a big thing that comes up, and that's tied right into development. And it's because we're developing, the downtown area, and it's spreading from there. And the profits and the wealth that are being brought in from those developments are not being shared equitably among the community. And so I think that's the biggest thing we come across. I mentioned the Rays a little bit. St. Pete's on a peninsula because Pinellas County is a peninsula. Everybody's a little bit concerned about climate change, I think, all the way across the state, but us, it's just a little bit concerned. Yeah. I'm pretty sure at any moment we could be wiped out. So I want to take care, make sure we're not contributing to that problem and that we're resilient. And so these common themes that you see across the state often go from city to city to city. Yes, we have unique problems like redeveloping the Tropicana Field area and making sure that we have a healthy relationship with the baseball team here. But I think the big picture things are things that everybody comes across in Florida.
I need to just point out to everybody who doesn't know this, but St. Pete is where the coolest Dolly museum is. Actually, well, I mean, outside of the one in Spain, the one in St. Petersburg is like the second largest collection of Dolly stuff. I just have to give shout out. And I haven't been since it's been upgraded and redone, so I need to do that.
Well,
yeah, it's amazing.
And so,
Yeah, it's cool, right? I've heard, I mean, it was amazing before, but I know that they've done a bunch of stuff.
What is it from your perspective that you find to be endearing when it comes to running for city council? Because one of the things that I think a lot of people find appealing about city council and even county commission is that it's nonpartisan. We understand that, obviously Pinellas County is, it's definitely more blue than Hillsborough County, but it's still technically a blue county, if you want to say. So a lot of times there's this expectation that, it's nonpartisan, but I'm a Democrat. How do you find that running nonpartisan helps when it comes to reaching out to the electorate?
It's tricky. So, I said the first things that come up at the doors, like housing, the issues about how people are going to put food on their table. But all too often it's, well, who did you vote for president? It's like the first thing you hear, or what party are you in? And it's disappointing when we come across that. But we found that, by just stating the facts about nonpartisan and my party registration, we can immediately pivot to the issues. And I do think that there's an opportunity at a local level to really actually focus in on the issues instead of, just what party are you going to vote with whenever you get there, because we're all in nonpartisan seats. And so while, yeah, at the beginning, I'll say at the beginning, a lot of the conversations start with the party message. We can often pivot really easily, no matter who we're talking to at the door. And especially when we're focusing on issues that working people actually care about, and not frivolous things. And so, and when we have a history of activism and, an actual movement that we've been building for a little while that can back up what we've been trying to accomplish in the first place.
Let me ask you, what is the climate there in terms of the commission, that the seat that you're running for? Are these at-large seats? Are you a particular district? And is there somebody that's been sitting their fat butt there for just longer than they ought to? Like, what's the situation there?
Yeah, so it's a district-based seat. And during the primary, only people in the district get to vote. But then during the general election, it's the top 2 from the primary, then go on to the general, and everyone in the city votes then. So it kind of is like a weird mix of like at large and in district. Yes.
So you could essentially have 2 representatives from the same exact area representing the entire city.
No. So there's 8 districts, and during the primary, I'm in District 8. During the primary, everyone in District 8 gets to vote on the 4 candidates that are running. The top 2 then are on the ballot for everyone in the city. And so everyone in the city will have every district on the ballot.
Right.
And so people in District 1 will be voting for District 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Yeah.
So everyone votes for every district, but your district puts who they want up. So that's
2
very
people.
Interesting.
Yeah,
right?
It is.
So basically other districts get to have a say-so about other districts. That's really interesting. We don't have that like that at all here.
No, it's unique.
Yeah.
But as you point out, this state is unique in that there's a lot of county rule, I guess is the way to put it.
For sure.
And so in a way, that is a good thing when you consider all of the stuff that DeSantis and the GOP in Tallahassee have been trying to run roughshod over the state. And it's obviously not good. But the good news is, there is a lot of county rule that does go on. So while there may be things that they're trying to implement, like prayer in school, that's not going to fly in a number of places.
No, but one of the things that they're doing right now that's very current is them banning that teaching of critical race theory, and I have some issues with this.
Well, again,
I have some grievances to file about this. So I think we need to discuss this. I don't know if this is like fair for me to talk about with you or anybody who's just here, because it's coming into my mind now. But why is this called a theory and not just history? Like, I don't understand what is the theory?
I think
what is critical race theory? What is that?
Richie, from my perspective,
it's history.
I think the only thing that makes sense because again, obviously it's obviously steeped in bigotry from one perspective, but another perspective, I think just for a lot of particularly white people, I think it's just shame. I think they don't want to reconcile their past.
It just pisses me off that this is what's been going on over the past few days. Is like I'm watching DeSantis sign this crap. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, obviously at the city level, our school board, it'll be interesting to see what they do. They've already started censoring stuff in our school board that is race-based that I called out a few weeks ago locally. So what are you finding?
I mean, okay, so first off, the first thing I want to say is that this critical race theory thing is a distraction manufactured by Republicans in order to stop, in order to whip up fear in their base, in order to throw red meat at
that theory? I've never been taught it before. Like, we have to stop critical race theory. Who's teaching that?
Well, it's more like look, the Republicans in the state legislature have already written all of the standards. I'm a public school teacher. All of the standards that I get handed are written by the Republicans in Tallahassee anyway. So anything that they say is going on wrong in their schools, they can take full responsibility for, first and foremost. But this is not non-issue in our state.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with working people putting food on their table or roofs over their heads. It's just them trying to whip up fear in their base so that they can point to the boogeyman Democrats aren't going to do anything. And I hope that the left or broader left or just movement against the Republicans doesn't get distracted by this and continues to talk about working people's issues, or maybe starts to talk about working people's issues so that way, because it's just a distraction, honestly.
Oh, I think it is and it's making an issue where there isn't one, sort of like trans bathroom issues. It's creating an issue that's never been an issue just to say it is. But what concerns me about it is this censorship that's going on. What we saw here locally, our county school board decided to take a book. I forget the name of the book. It was a book written from a juvenile's perspective, that a black kid who was killed by the police. And I guess it was Ghost Boys. The name of the book is Ghost Boys. And it was found to be appropriate by commonsense.org. And yet our school board, interestingly, in line with the Fraternal Order of Police, decided that the book was inappropriate material. And what concerns me is that this stuff is at the local level where we have control over what our kids can and cannot learn. And it's kind of freaking me out that we're like watching history being whitewashed in real time. Like and I just think we have to so yeah, it's a distraction, but it's also going to now make there be a controversy in people teaching accurate history, which from my perspective has never been taught.
I think
yeah,
Richie,
that's.
I think you're absolutely right, though. When you get right down to it, we are living in a facade economy in many respects. People want to pretend like things are getting better, or that things never were nearly as bad as they made them out to be.
Right, or the problem is COVID.
Yeah,
COVID's the whole problem.
A lot of the promises that were made have not been kept.
Yeah.
Cost of living in Florida, especially in places like St. Petersburg, are off the charts expensive. We do not have a living wage. In fact, we had a $15 minimum wage passed, but of course, we have, you obviously have a state senator not too far from you, Jeff Brandes, who has tried to move heaven and earth.
Did you see that, what he was doing?
Yeah, we protested out in front of his office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because did we have it? Yeah, we had him as a bootlicker of the week. I'm pretty sure I had him as Jeff Brandes as bootlicker of the week.
Maybe. We would have to check. But yeah, he's just he's emblematic of,
oh yeah.
It's not just that it's not even that they don't want a $15 minimum wage. It's that they don't want a $15 minimum wage for the people who need it the most. It's like
they're not worthy. The bottom line is that they don't think they're worthy. They don't think that all work is worthy of a living wage. Well, they think all work must be done. They want all the work to be done, but not all work is worthy of a living wage. They also
believe that there is I honestly think that a lot of people just think that there should be a class system in society, that not everybody is worthy of living a life of dignity, yes. That you have to be living a life of fear constantly.
Yeah.
And so I am going to assume, and we don't have to really get into the minutia of other people running in the race, but I'm going to assume that you are the one non-corporate candidate in the race. Is that a fair assumption?
I think that's a fair assumption. Yes.
Good.
And what is the, before we go, what is the general demographic? Like me, I'm a second generation Floridian. When I think of St. Pete, I think of mostly older people and then a very nice, robust LGBT population. That's like my perception of St. Pete. Am I wrong?
I wouldn't say that you're totally wrong. Okay. Yes, there is a very sizable LGBTQ plus population in St. Pete in my district as well. Yeah. There is a large population of older people as well, but there is a lot of working people and working families as well. Young people, people who have moved here for opportunity, people who have always been here. And the age of St. Petersburg itself has been going down for some time now. So we're a city just like anywhere else. We have a lot of diversity as well in the city, but it's like heavily segregated. I'm actually running for a seat that's about 8% black, and just a few blocks away from here is a district that's like plus 50% plus black. And so, we've been a segregated city for as long as the city's been around. And so we have a lot of issues that we still need to work out. But I wouldn't say that everything you know about it's wrong, but it's just changed a lot in the last 10 or so years.
Richie, if you're going to make a pitch to the voters, and obviously this is going to get shared all over
everyone, this
media.
Is St. Pete City Commission, seat 8.
And very important, RichieFloyd.com. Check it out. Make sure that you help his campaign any way that you can. Remember, this is grassroots, non-corporate, nonpartisan, supports labor, housing, a lot of things that we all agree need to be primary issues for everybody, not just the people who are living comfortably.
And he's willing to say climate change in violation of former governor's edict. So apparently he's on the right side of that. So,
well, I'm willing to say a lot more.
Yeah, and so what would be your pitch, your final pitch, if you will, to potential voters who may be watching this right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a history of activism in the city. I was heavily involved in the $15 minimum wage campaign, the campaign for real police reform, the campaign to bring social workers to the police program, to stop fighting, to stop treating everything like a criminal matter. I was involved in the push to create a Green New Deal in St. Pete, the push for a Medicare for All resolution in St. Pete. And I'm going to continue to take that same energy and activist spirit to City Hall. I'm not funded by any corporate donations. I'm 100% funded by small dollar donations, labor orgs and progressive orgs, nothing else. We have the most donors of anyone in the city. We've knocked the most doors of anyone in the city. You can guarantee that I'm on the people's side. That's what this is about. And that's what I'm always going to stand for. And so if you want someone who is really willing to fight for change, I think that's what this is about. And, you know, finally, it's not just about me. It's not about what I can accomplish as a city councilor. It's about the movement that we can build together. And that's what we're going to be doing with this race and this campaign. No matter what happens, we're going to come out stronger on the other side with a real progressive movement to change this city and this state.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on. Everybody check out Richie's page.
RichieFloyd.com. Richie Floyd, candidate for City Council, St. Petersburg. We really appreciate you
Thank
coming
you.
on. We will definitely
Thank you for having me.
My
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.